Welcome to this new Concepsys Document Control Tip of the Month. This month, we talk about how to prepare a job interview for a document control position. Preparing for a job interview can be a daunting task. We can even say it's nerve-wracking sometimes. This feeling is normal. After all, we don't do it every day and it involves selling our skill set and strength, which is not necessarily something we are used to doing. But actually, being called for an interview is amazing. It means your CV was selected out of the pile of CVs the recruiter has received, and it means your experience and skill set have impressed. It's also the sign of a great opportunity ahead. If you have not watched it yet, I'd recommend you watch our video about what makes a good or bad CV to increase your chances to be recruited as a document controller. So what can you do to transform this interview opportunity into a fantastic success? As you know, Concepsys is the worldwide leader in document control. Not only we train and certify document control professionals, but we also meet thousands of professionals every year, talk with recruiters, managers, leaders, and we understand what they are looking for in a document control professional. So we have prepared for you a list of key steps and tips to be prepared and to impress for your next interview for a document control position. Step number 1. Research. Don't underestimate this step. This is what will make your interview special compared to other potential candidates. What kind of research? Who is the recruiting organization? What is the role they are recruiting for? And what are the specifics of the position? Let's focus on each one now. First, research the company. By researching on the internet and on social media, answer these questions. What is the purpose of the organization? What is their culture? What are the values that the organization displays and how do they fit with your own values? What kind of workplace environment is it? For example, a design office, a construction site, headquarters or a subsidiary, an operating site? How many employees does the organization have? What type of projects and clients does the organization have? Can you find in your work history an experience with a similar environment, either in terms of an organization of similar size, or in the same industry, or the same kind of role? It may also be worth doing a bit of research on professional social media like LinkedIn about the interviewer that you will meet. Look for example for their role in the company and how their role relates to the role you applied for. Look also for any common first-degree connections. Then research the role. Answer these questions. What is the role they are recruiting for? Assistant document controller, senior document controller? Is it a lead document control role, a document control manager role? What are the typical tasks for this role? And if you have not watched it yet, I'd recommend you watch our video on the typical tasks and role of a document controller. What is the purpose of the role? For any position in the document control area, I would recommend that you watch again the What is Document Control video before your interview. Research the typical salary range for this role in your country and your industry. And of course, research the actual position you are applying for. Carefully read the job description and answer these questions. What are the tasks highlighted in the description? Which are the typical internal and external interfaces of that position? What qualifications are required? What is the ideal candidate's background? This will also give you ideas about what is of interest to the recruiter, and it might help you prepare for the potential questions the recruiter may have during the interview. Step number 2, prepare. Part of your preparation is studying your CV and preparing a fact sheet with metrics about each position, a summary of your main activities in your own words, your main achievements. For example, if you had to describe in one short sentence your achievements there, what would it be? The duration of your employment at this position, the number of documents you managed per week or per month, the EDMS you used, the number of users in your team, the number and type of interfaces with external companies you had, and examples of instances where you protected the interest of your organization. The fact list will help you answer interview questions more confidently as you will have rehearsed the main key points. Also prepare for common interview questions. If you have thought about your answers to most typical questions in advance, you will feel more confident in answering on the day of the interview. But there is no way of knowing exactly which questions will be asked on the day of the interview, so you must prepare a wide range. We will show you here a few examples of typical questions. Bear in mind, these are only examples. The interviewer may ask you these or completely different ones, so it is important that you get prepared for anything. Typical interview questions include: why do you want to work here? Why do you think you are a good fit for this role? What are your greatest strengths? Tell me about a time where you encountered a challenge in a past role and how you tackled that challenge. When you answer questions, provide specific examples wherever possible. Also prepare for widely open questions, such as, tell me about yourself. You definitely should have an elevator pitch ready for this circumstance. You can use the principles we explained in our elevator pitch video, which I will link here. The difference is that here, your elevator pitch will be about yourself and not about document control. Introduce yourself in a short but engaging way that will showcase how you can meet the recruiter's expectations for the role. The objective of the interview is to demonstrate how you can be an asset to the recruiting company and what you would bring in terms of skills, character, ethics, and values that the company might be looking for. Demonstrate how you think your past experience will help you meet expectations of this new position. Think about what would be the scariest question that the recruiter could ask. What would be the question for which you would struggle to find words? Maybe about something you don't know, or a gap in your CV, or the reason why you resigned from a position. And be prepared to answer these. This will help you be prepared for anything. Prepare an answer that is both truthful and that shows the recruiter that you are able to learn, to own your past, but learn from mistakes or challenges. And during the interview, if a difficult question arises, and if you don't immediately know how to answer, you may say, "Let me think about that for a moment." One question that we know will arise at one point or another is the question of your salary expectations. To prepare for this question, you must take into account several factors: your current salary, the salary range advertised by the recruiter, real data from Document Control Salary Survey. You should look at the annual salary survey report published by Concepsys every year. This is a great source to benchmark yourself against other peers, but also a fantastic source to prepare for a job interview. Also take into account the industry, the location, the organization size, your experience, the uniqueness of your skill set, and consider the complete compensation package and not only the salary. Consider how flexible you are willing to be. Also take the real state of the job market into account. You should also prepare your questions to the interviewer. A few examples: what would a typical day in this role look like? What are the next steps in the hiring process? What are the key responsibilities in this position? What immediate projects or tasks would I be working on? How would you describe the company's culture? What's the most important thing I should accomplish in the first 90 days? Some documents are also likely to be required or inquired about during the interview and recruitment process. Have them ready and with you at all times. Copies of your resume, copies of your ID for identification verification purposes, copies of your certification, especially if that is the Concepsys certification, as it is recognized worldwide by organizations of all sizes and throughout more than 65 industries, copies of any qualification relevant to the position, a list of references, people that the recruiter can call to verify your experience, preferably your previous managers in past experiences. Also research the interview location in advance so that there are no surprises on interview day. Being late at an interview never impresses anyone. Prepare for making great first impressions. Will Rogers famously said, You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And that is so very true. So there are steps we can take to make a great first impression on the interview day. Indeed, the interview is as much about your experience as it is about yourself, for example, your character, your soft skills, etc. Use tips for public speaking. For example, you can look at our Tip of the Month video on presentation skills, where you will find loads of tips that can be very useful to prepare for your interview day. Be aware of your body language and nonverbal communication. Stand tall, sit upright, offer firm and pleasant handshakes, tame your hand gestures and finger fiddling, make eye contact, and a smile is always going to be appreciated. Look the part. Look, act, and dress professionally. Prepare, rehearsed with mock interviews or filmed practice sessions. Have your clothes, resume, directions ready the day before. Step number 4 on interview day. In terms of logistics, research the location in advance. Make your way much in advance to the interview location on the day of the interview, and make sure you have the contact information with you before leaving the house. First impressions matter, so be prepared with your job description, CV and notes. Arrive on time, that means arriving 10 to 15 minutes before the meeting time. Meet the recruiter with a firm handshake and a big smile, and be polite to everyone you meet. Step number 5, after the interview. Send a follow-up email a few days after the interview. It's a short follow-up note to thank the interviewer and to show your interest for the role. What do you dread most about job interviews? What tips can you give to fellow document controllers to prepare for their next interview? Let us know in the comments below. If you wish to know more about document control and improve your skills in and around document control, join us in one of our courses, which allow to develop your skills and get your career on the right track. We have different courses, each one designed to accompany you throughout your career in document control. You can find the link in the description below. We regularly release new content on document control, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and to hit the notification bell to be notified of any useful new content.